Sports coverage of the National Football League brings us.
There's not much left to say. Like you said, just gotta keep going. Season's not going to get canceled. Just gotta keep working.
That's the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, of course, after the game Sunday at Jaguars.
Question, Pete. Is Trevor Lawrence regressing, or is the offense regressing, and there's nothing that even Peyton Manning at his heyday could make with what's going on out there?
Yeah, he's regressing, Tony. And I think he's regressing from a standpoint of being frustrated. I think when you go back to throw, and time again, and you can stop the tape at every time when he gets to the top of his drop. Stop the tape and show me who's open. Stop the tape and show me who's open. And so that's frustrating. And then when you get to the top of your drop and you're ready to throw and go through 1, 2, or 3, if one's not there, two's not there, well, what's the natural thing to do? Is to start moving. And I think he's moving sometimes when there's nothing there, and he shouldn't be moving. So it's just so hard to play quarterback with guys. Nobody's open. Nobody. They don't have guys wide open. It never happens. Other than garbage time yesterday, because they got a couple guys open in garbage time.
I'm just trying to make a point is that, that's where you're at right now. Is that if you're not getting better with what you're doing and with the personnel that you're using and the play calls that you're using, so there's one of two things that you have to do. I mean, you can sit there and say, well, we're just going to go back to work. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But at some point, you have to change something. Is it changing personnel? Okay, that might be it. Might be call it differently. That might be it. Okay, get a little different look, maybe a little different play calling. Maybe change up the way you prepare. I mean, that's because the definition of insanity is what?
Yeah, doing it over and over. Right?
And expecting a different result. And I'm not saying you're at the point where you're just, you're going insane with this Jaguars offense, but you're not getting the results that you want.
I don't know. I might argue the other.
You might be going insane, JP. I'm not quite going insane yet, but it's getting close to that. So look, you need to look at doing something different. And I'm sure that has been and will be a major focus this week with coaching.
They didn't target Dan Arnold last week. He was the leading
Tell me
target.
why.
Well, I'm going to ask you why. He was the leading target, leading receiver, leading yardage receiver since he arrived here. Urban said earlier this week, in fact yesterday, that kind of bracketed coverage on him some. He is the leading receiver on the team.
Again, here, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm not saying that Dan Arnold is George Kittle. I'm not saying that Dan Arnold is Travis Kelce. But how do they continue to get the ball to those guys? Any answers?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, they scheme it up.
Yeah.
And they make sure the ball goes to them. Because
just feed it. Just force it.
You find a way.
Throw it, yeah.
You find a way. And I'm like I said, I'm not saying that Dan Arnold is Travis Kelce or George Kittle, because he's not. But he is one of the best options that you have in your offense. And, we watched Gronkowski last night with Tom Brady. Did you watch that game?
Some of it, yes.
Okay. From what you saw, did you see some of the short throws of Gronkowski? Just kind of almost like a run here. Gronk just runs down the field 4 yards, turns around. There you go.
Out here.
There you go.
Yep, a little out. Yeah, you're fine.
Right?
Yep, move the sticks. Boom. Yep.
What's wrong with doing some of that with Dan Arnold? I mean, so my point is that you've got to take a hard look at everything that you're doing from a personnel standpoint, from a play calling standpoint, because you've got a young quarterback that you've got to develop. And you got to make things a little bit easier for him. I watched the Patriots last Thursday, as a lot of other people did. And Mac Jones was having a lot of open receivers to throw to. And are the New England Patriots skill position players that much better than the Jaguars? Or that much better than a lot of other people? I mean, maybe they're a little better.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, but
the scheme and it's well for Mac Jones right now.
Look, they do a real good job with their offensive system, and they've done a really good job because they're completing at a rate of over 70%. I think it's the second best completion percentage in the National Football League, and they're doing that with a rookie quarterback.
And you can argue that, okay, a lot of that's short. There's not pushing the ball down the field a lot, but it's successful.
What's wrong with that?
I'm with you.
You know,
We've heard for years around here, he doesn't push the ball down the field, right? That's a problem. But when you're completing 70% and winning games, that's a different animal.
Yeah, my point is with that is that, look, you got to find a way, and you got to look at what you're doing. And you can't just sit there and continue to say, well, we got to get back to work. Well, sometimes you got to go, hey, look, let's get back to work and look at what we're doing. You know, so maybe you can find a different answer or a different solution or another way of going about your business and maybe try to get something different happening. And so, because if you keep going out there with this, you know, with a young quarterback, I mean, you want to talk about a quick way to erode and completely nullify confidence.
We have to play better, but sometimes it's just sharpening your